We've had very constructive discussions with Michel Barnier and Martin Selmayr, and our determination is to prevent a no-deal exit from the European Union next Friday, and we're therefore looking for alternatives and building a majority in Parliament that can agree on a future constructive economic relationship with the European Union. We've been discussing how this could come about, and we've been trying to reach out here, as indeed both Keir and myself have been reaching out across colleagues in all parties in the UK Parliament. The issue will come back to the UK Parliament on Monday and Tuesday of next week, and probably for the rest of the week as well, and our determination is to find an agreement which means that we prevent a no-deal exit and that we have a future constructive relationship with the European Union that could be negotiated during an extension period. This morning's meetings have been positive, and we have done what I believe the government ought to be doing, which is instead of bringing back a twice rejected deal to the British Parliament, instead looking for a constructive alternative, which is exactly what I said to the Prime Minister in my discussions with her late last night.
Isn't it time to put the country... Yeah, isn't it time to put...
Shout,
sorry.
We're all here. Yeah. And I can see who you are, and I will call you in the fair and decent way in which I try to conduct myself. Your good self.
Jeremy Corbyn, isn't it time to put the country first and recognise that it's time to vote for the Prime Minister's deal? That is the way through.
The Prime Minister's deal has been flatly rejected twice by the British Parliament. We do not believe it is a way forward, and therefore we are looking for an alternative that can command a majority in Parliament.
Mr Corbyn, how can our viewers take seriously your statement that you want to reach out to everyone when just last night you left a meeting of MPs from all parties with the Prime Minister that was called in order to find such a consensus?
There was a confusion over that meeting. I had a separate and very extensive discussion with the Prime Minister later on. I'm also arranging to meet the Prime Minister next week on a one-to-one basis as Leader of the Opposition to the Prime Minister. I have met with the leaders of all the other parties in Parliament in my office this week, and Keir has also met with delegations from all across the House of Commons. We have done a great deal to listen very carefully and try to construct a majority that can bring about a resolution of this crisis.
Yeah.
Let's take one at a time. Yourself.
Of a second referendum, is that in the cards? You talked about alternatives.
In our own conference proposals from last year, there is a demand for an option for a confirmatory vote to be put to the British people at the end of any negotiations, and we are obviously considering what proposals we put to the British Parliament next week, and that's why we've had this very long consultation process. Yes.
If the deal gets voted down, will you contemplate, or did Mr Barnier contemplate, the conditions for a longer extension? And if the only way to vote to stop a no deal was unilateral revocation, would you consider that?
Well, these are hypotheticals. So far as we're concerned, we think there's an urgency in constructing a majority for an agreeable solution, and that's what we're concentrating on at the moment.
Can I ask you again, Mr Corbyn, would you rule out suggesting a revocation of Article 50 in order to buy the government and the country more time?
We think that what we're proposing can be achieved in the British Parliament. We do believe we can construct a majority which will prevent the crashing out and all the chaos that will come from crashing out, and that is what we're absolutely focused on.
What makes you think you can do it this time? Have you not been able to do it before?
Well, we got a lot nearer last time than we did on previous occasions, and there's obviously a great concentration of minds in the British Parliament at the moment because of the, I think, danger of crashing out without a deal and the problems that will cause for jobs, for transport, for supplies and all those issues. And indeed, I don't want to see that. I want to see an orderly relationship with Europe in the future.